Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're tackling a medium-level problem called maximum square area by removing fences from a field. It's a bit of a mouthful, but the concept is actually pretty straightforward geometry. We're going to break it down step by step, look at the logic, and solve it efficiently. Let's get started. Here is the problem description. We have a rectangular field. We are given the dimensions, let's call the number of rows in im, and the number of columns in. We also have specific coordinates for horizontal and vertical fences. The key thing here is that the outer boundaries, the edges of the field, are always considered fences and cannot be removed. Our goal is to figure out the largest possible square area we can make by choosing to keep or remove the internal fences. If we can't make a square, we return -1. Let's visualize this grid properly, because the indexing can be a little tricky. The field spans from row 1 to row m, and column 1 to column en. This means we have a fixed horizontal fence at the very top, coordinate 1, and at the very bottom, coordinate m. Similarly, we have fixed vertical fences at the far left, coordinate 1, and the far right, coordinate n. Any other fences given in the input are somewhere in between these borders. So what are we actually looking for? We need to pick 2 horizontal lines to form the top and bottom of our square, and 2 vertical lines to form the left and right sides. The distance between the horizontal lines gives us the height, and the distance between the vertical lines gives us the width. Since we want a square, this height must exactly equal the width. We want to maximize this side length. Essentially, we are looking for a gap size that exists in both the horizontal fence layout and the vertical fence layout. Let's walk through an example to make this concrete. Suppose our field has 4 rows and 3 columns. We have horizontal fences at 2 and 3, and a vertical fence at 2. First, let's list all the lines available. For horizontal, we have the borders at 1 and 4, plus the inputs 2 and 3. So our list is 1, 2, 3, 4. For vertical, we have borders at 1 and 3 plus the input 2. So our list is 1, 2, 3. Now let's find the possible side lengths we can form. Looking at the horizontal lines, 1, 2, 3, 4. The distance between adjacent lines is 1. But remember, we can remove fences. So we can look at the distance between 1 and 3, which is 2, or 1 and 4, which is 3. The set of all possible horizontal heights is 1, 2, and 3. Now do the same for vertical lines, 1, 2, 3. We can have a width of 1 or a width of 2 from 1 to 3. The set of vertical widths is 1 and 2. The largest number that appears in both sets is 2. So our maximum square side is 2, giving us an area of 4. Just a quick heads up. We'll be walking through the logic and solution using Python first. It's great for readability, but don't worry if that's not your main language. I'll be showing the full code for Java, C++, and JavaScript towards the end of the video, so stick around for that. The strategy here is what we call enumeration. Instead of trying to visualize 2D squares immediately, we simplify the problem. We treat the horizontal cuts and vertical cuts as 2 separate 1D problems. If we find every possible height we can create, and every possible width we can create, the problem just becomes finding the biggest number that exists in both lists. It's much simpler than trying to simulate the grid directly. Before we dive into the code, let's talk about the real reason people fail at Leetcode. It's not because they can't reverse a linked list, it's because they break their daily streak. I built my daily to-do specifically to solve this. You can set Solve Daily Leetcode as a routine task. This means it reminds you to complete your routine tasks every day. It's a dedicated system to force you to be consistent, which I also use to remind myself to upload these videos every day. If you're watching this channel, you're trying to improve, so this tool makes sure you actually show up to do it. I also want to be 100% transparent about how this app will grow. I am an indie developer, not a big corporation. I will never take away a free feature you already use. Core features like repeating tasks remain free forever. However, as I add new server-heavy features, they will be part of the premium plan to help cover the costs of running the app. Also, the price of premium will go up every time I ship a major new feature. So the best time to get involved is right now while it's early. Check it out at the link in the description. Okay, we've talked about the big picture and the logic. Now let's see what this looks like as actual code. I'll put the full solution up on the screen first. Alright, here represents the complete Python solution. We have a helper method at the top called getEdges, and the main function below. It's surprisingly short for a medium problem, right? Let's break down exactly what's happening in each part so you understand how to implement it yourself. First, let's look at the get_edges function. This function takes a list of internal fences and the final border coordinate. First, we create a new list called points. We combine the starting border one, all the internal fences, and the end border. Then, and this is crucial, we sort them. Sorting ensures that when we calculate distances, we're moving strictly from left to right or top to bottom. Then, using a nested loop structure inside a set comprehension, we calculate the difference between every possible pair of fences. Points minus points gives us the distance between any two fence lines. We return a set of all these possible distances. Now for the main function. We define our modulo constant first, because the answer can be huge. Then, we simply call our helper function twice. First, pass the horizontal fences and the row limit m to get all possible heights. Second, pass the vertical fences and the column limit n to get all possible widths. The magic happens in the intersection line. The ampersand operator between the two sets finds all the numbers that exist in both sets. We take the max of this intersection. If the intersection is empty, we default to 0. Finally, we need to return the answer. If max_edge is non-zero, it means we found a valid square side. We square it, multiply it by itself, and apply the modulo operator. If max_edge is 0, it means there were no common distances at all, so we return -1, as required by the problem. It's always good to think about edge cases. What if there are absolutely no common side lengths? That's why we use default equals 0 in the max function. If that happens, our conditional check at the end correctly returns -1. Also remember that m and n can be very large, so the area could overflow a standard integer. That's why the problem asks for the result modulo 10 to the 9th plus 7. Our logic handles the case with no internal fences perfectly fine too. It just calculates the distance between the outer borders. So how fast is this? Let's say h is the number of horizontal fences, and v is the number of vertical fences. Generating all pairs of horizontal fences requires a nested loop, which takes time proportional to h squared. Similarly, the vertical fences take time proportional to v squared. Finding the intersection is generally efficient, so the overall time complexity is order of h squared plus v squared. The space complexity is the same, because in the worst case, all the calculated distances are unique, and we store them all in our sets. Alright, that covers the main solution in Python. As promised, for those of you who code in other languages, I'm about to show the full solutions for Java, C++, and JavaScript. I won't be breaking these down, so just pause the video on your language of choice to check it out. Alright, as promised, here is the full solution in Java. Notice we use a hash set to store the distances and arrays .sort for the ordering. You can pause the video here to take a closer look. Next up, here is the C++ version of the solution. We use unordered sets for fast lookups. Be careful with long for the area calculation to avoid overflow before the modulo. Feel free to pause and review the code. And finally, here is the solution in JavaScript. Since JavaScript numbers can get tricky with precision, using BigInt for the area calculation is a safe bet here. Hopefully, seeing it in a few different languages helps solidify the concepts. So let's wrap it up. The biggest takeaway here is decomposition. We didn't try to draw squares on a grid. We broke the problem into what heights are possible and what widths are possible. By enumerating all distances and using a set intersection, we turned a complex geometry problem into a simple data matching problem. Also, if you're looking for even more Leetcode problems beyond the daily challenge, I've started a second channel called Leetcode Unlocked. It's where I'll be posting solutions to a ton of other problems, so if you're serious about your interview prep, be sure to check it out. The link is in the description below. Hope this Leetcode solution breakdown made sense. If it helped, give that like button a click, maybe subscribe for more, or drop a comment if you have questions. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you know straight away when I upload a video, because I upload videos daily. If you want to support the channel, a few people have asked how I plan my solutions. I'm a big fan of sketching out the logic and data structures on a tablet before I code. It really helps. I've put affiliate links in the description to the tablet I use and a few other good options. Using those links doesn't cost you anything extra, but really helps me out. Or, if you're feeling generous, there's always the Boba Fund. Keep coding, and I'll catch you in the next one.